Good morning, Ian Crouch with your 8:30 Hunter News update. The state's upper house has voted in favour of legislation which clears the way for a container terminal to be built at Newcastle Port. Labor put forward last-minute amendments which would have required the Treasurer to assess whether scrapping the financial penalties imposed on the port was in the public interest, but these were voted down. Parliamentary Secretary for the Hunter, Taylor Martin, told Parliament removing caps on container movements will be a massive boost for the region's primary producers and manufacturers.
So the ability to use the Port of Newcastle with its superior rail links throughout rural and regional northern New South Wales in particular would be a big win for the producers throughout New South Wales. And furthermore, for the many skilled manufacturers across the Hunter, this is a win, and I am sure that in the future we'll see those innovative businesses making use of any future import-export capacity there at the port.
A 51-year-old woman is in a serious condition in hospital following a freak accident at Greta. The woman was cleaning a car in Nelson Street yesterday afternoon when solvents she was using exploded. She suffered serious burns to her hands and upper body. The Hunter's Westpac rescue helicopter flew her to Sydney's Royal North Shore Hospital in a serious but stable condition. COVID cases have jumped by almost a third in just 1 week in the Hunter New England Health District as a new wave sweeps the state. Almost 1,300 infections were reported in the region last week, along with 4 deaths. Across the state, case numbers jumped by 40%. The Hunter's being encouraged to stop and think about the men and women who've died at war as the region marks Remembrance Day. Newcastle RSL will mark the occasion with a service at Civic Park at 11 a.m, as well as a flyover from a RAF wedgetail. Vice President Frank Carter says it's a solemn occasion.
It's one of those things that it's a personal feeling, I think, that minute silence, but yeah, two people that have served and to others, I think it's a very, very important and respectful.
The Hunters Peak Union body has thrown its support behind a proposed Indigenous voice in the Australian Constitution. A referendum is expected to be held next year. Hunter workers passed a resolution last night to support the Yes campaign. Secretary Lee Shears says for far too long governments have excluded First Nations Australians from the process on policies that will affect them. A new fold-out map for residents and visitors in Lake Macquarie has been launched, helping navigate the city's 120 kilometres of off-road shared paths and cycleways. It contains information around the city's iconic links, including the Fernley Track and the shared path from Spears Point to Glendale. Council Program and Projects Lead Simon Gulliver says it'll benefit anyone in the area.
We have so many kind of cycleways and shared pathways that people loosely know about but don't necessarily know how to connect those pathways to each other or how to get through a network of quiet streets that can turn a short journey into a longer trip, or maybe to commute to work or school or TAFE or any of those types of things. So this map attempts to do that.
2NURFM Sport.
Knights Director of Football Peter Parr has given the tick of approval on his side's draw for the 2023 season. Parr says having 4 of the club's games on a Friday night with the remainder being on the weekend as a good thing for the fans, making it more convenient to attend. Meanwhile, ex-Knights coach Rick Stone has been confirmed as West's coach for the next 2 seasons, with former coach Todd Lowry set to be an assistant at the Melbourne Storm. West's last Newcastle Rugby League premiership came in 2019, with Stone having coached the Knights on more than 50 occasions between 2009 and 2015. After finishing with the highest points tally at an event in Penrith last month, 3 of the 12-13 years girls from the Hunters Swim Club are preparing for the Australian Open Water Championships. Lara Morgan, Alice Spadari and Lexi Sutherland will compete in the competition over in Western Australia towards the end of January. And Dungog trainer Joe McFadden is hopeful Belmont Bullet can put on a performance at the Duncan Dark Memorial Final at the Gardens tonight. That's sport. I'm Jordan Regnis.
And the winning numbers in Powerball are 3, 5, 14, 15, 17, 22 and 32, and the Powerball is 7. And now you're up to date with the latest 2NURFM Hunter News.